The ending of a movie could finish with a spectacular battle or on a quiet, contemplative note. An ending reveals what your story is about and the journey or arc of your characters they have taken. If you do it right, your moviegoer will tweet, "It's the best movie ever, it made me cry." Ultimately, this is what you want from your movie-paying audience. Also, as a screenwriter, I and all of you listening now are hoping an agency reader will read your script and give thumbs up and recommend it to her boss. Writers ask me all the time, what do I do first, the ending or the beginning? I have the answer, and I will share it with you, I promise, along with detailed Act 3 structure points to write your amazing finish. Besides learning how my Act 3 structure points work, I will cover several types of endings and what they entail. Also, we'll finish with some of the most common roadblocks that each and every one of you encounter when trying to complete your screenplay. So, now, let's begin. Why are endings important? Well, 3 reasons. Well, the most obvious, it concludes your story. It finishes your protagonist's journey and presumably ends your hero's outer and inner mission. And in a well-written screenplay, completes the arc or journey of your lead character. If, for example, you're writing a 100-page script, then on the last page, your character can transform from weak to strong, from selfish to giving, or naive to savvy. Of course, there are other journeys a character can take, but the point is it concludes their inner life besides their external mission. For example, to return to Kansas, to destroy the Death Star, to stay alive, or even to save the day and save the girl from the oncoming train. As I mentioned, endings also illustrate the philosophy or theme of your screenplay. Is it redemption? Is it you against the world? The most satisfying screenplays are the ones with a point of view. Even broad comedies have a point of view, like There's Something About Mary or Shallow Hal. Point of views always exemplify not only through your character's actions and convictions, but summon a strong moral core and find the strength to do extraordinary things in the face of great opposition. Some endings are ambiguous, such as Casablanca or Citizen Kane or even Godfather. Other are happy, like Rocky or Wall-E, or other are horror endings where the creature promises to return. Think Saw or any of those type of films. Again, I will go over these type of endings in the slides to come. And lastly, endings are important because they are the last thing your audience remembers, and it's vitally important to us writers because it's the final impression that is made on your reader, as I mentioned before. It can lead to a hearty recommendation at the water cooler, or conversely, it is the last page a reader remembers and can mean the difference between a pass or recommend on your script. Endings should never be an afterthought, and they should be handled with great care. And really, actually, they begin on page 1. Never make the mistake to start your ending at what I call the despair point in Act 2. In a 100-page script, it's approximately page 75 or so. Really fantastic endings begin on page 1, where your hero starts their journey and seeks to make a change in their inner and outer existence. If you do not build your stakes at the commencement of the story, no one will care what happens at the end. Do not make the mistake that an ending will magically manifest. It takes planning, like building a skyscraper. You need blueprints and a foundation. Otherwise, it will crumble. If the seeds of your protagonist's journey are planted in the beginning, you can end with a spectacular finish. Remember, good screenwriting is all about conflict, from the smallest family dramas, like Little Miss Sunshine, to big action movies like The Avengers. So, the third act is the payoff of the conflict that has been complicated through the first and second acts. Conflict is created in many forms. The best conflict is created by your own protagonist. Character flaws are vital and need to be set up in Act 1 so they can be resolved in Act 3. Examples are self-doubt, jealousy, pride, rebellion, overconfidence, etc. Because it's with the character's own flaws that provides you the conflict that you need. To write conflict in every scene is a challenge, but each scene you write must contain at least some tension. Okay, conflict. Your character is hired to assassinate a drug lord who is guarded by an entire army. Tension. Your grenade that your character is fiddling with in his pocket. The audience is waiting for him to use it. That's the difference. Resolution of your conflict should bring a sense of joy for your character, a pathway forward to a new life, a way of looking at the world, and leave the audience knowing that your character will survive and even persevere. Again, endings are the resolution of plot and the hope of emotional well-being of your character. To leave your character in a better place at the end of your screenplay, you must set up stakes for your script. Again, with something at stake emotionally and with a specific goal, your ending will not leave your audience satisfied. The stakes of your screenplay can be divided into 3 things, as listed here on your screen. Outer mission, inner mission, theme or psychology of your character. Now, let's first begin with outer mission. Now, thinking about your own screenplay, ask what your character needs to accomplish. Act 1 sets up the problem. Then is compounded in Act 2 and resolved in Act 3. Give your character a clear and precise goal to achieve. Undoubtedly, your character will learn to be a different person by the end of his journey. That's an arc. Your goal is a mission your character embarks on. Is it to return home? To find the diamond? To save the orphans? As I mentioned before, there must be something at stake for the conflict to be worthy. Pixar does this regularly in each of their films. Your protagonist must also. For example, in Finding Nemo, it is to find Nemo. In Monsters, Inc., they must return Boo to her bedroom. And in WALL-E, he travels to space to find his robot love, Eve. All these characters are driven by a goal with something tangible at stake. Now, identify your outer mission of your protagonist in your own screenplay. What are they trying to accomplish? Is it enough to drive your plot through 100-plus pages? Your inner mission, or as commonly referred in screenwriting, the lead character must be and have an arc. In the film Argo, Ben Affleck's CIA agent comes to realize the value of family, his own son, after rescuing several Americans from Iran during the hostage crisis. In Star Wars, Luke Skywalker learns to trust the Force, which enables him to achieve his mission. In Titanic, Rose embraces her love everlasting, Jack, and it enables her to throw the diamond back into the ocean, thus completing her journey. In Shawshank Redemption, one of my favorite films, Andy must forgive himself for being a terrible husband and shred himself from his mental and physical prison and escape. Again, this is all essential to set up your arc or resolution from an internal and external point of view. So next, we move on to the psychology or point of view of your character. It is commonly known as theme or the message of the movie. It's extremely tricky because if you hammer the message home, it turns off your audience. But if you incorporate a psychology or message through a well-crafted third act conclusion, it will pay off beautifully. In Forrest Gump, I say the message is, it's beautiful to be blank and dumb. Others say it's courage and moral character can prevail over any obstacle. In Groundhog Day, it's the simple act of doing good things for others that truly makes you happy. In, again, Finding Nemo, it's simply put, you got to let him go if you want to let him grow. It is learning from your past and fulfilling a destiny. Again, the theme or psychology of your screenplay should emerge organically. A just insert method will definitely backfire. So, How do you create a great ending? Well, that's why we're here today, and I promise, we will go over it painstakingly, especially Act 3. But again, I want to emphasize the importance of the setup of your ending, because without these essential elements, your endings will not have the impact your readers and your audiences will remember. So, how do you create a great ending? Well, start from the beginning.